Hello and welcome to Hot Money Technicals on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is a show which gets you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I'm Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our guest on the show. Joining us right now is Amit Shah of Indiabulls Venture. Nilesh Jain of Anand Rathi is slightly delayed and he'll be here in a while. Let's begin with the first round of charts with our analyst. Amit has a chart on Jindal Stainless SR. So that's one stock that we need to watch out for. Jindal Stainless did manage to rally post the big block deal that happened, but it's Jindal Stainless SR which Amit is recommending at this point of time. Why are you bullish on this counter?
So, most steel counters that we have seen, they have had, most of the steel stocks, they peaked somewhere in, the start of 2018. And since then, most of them have had very bad phase of almost 2 years. But that's coming to an end for almost entire steel sector. Now, JSL Hisar, if we see, it's closing above its 200 EMA after almost 1.5 years. Now, that's sign of strength. Now, whenever there are such bull candles, what we are seeing is strong volumes happening. Even here, if we see on the smaller time frame, the volumes are pretty high. The entire mid-cap cycle is actually coming, the down cycle is coming to an end, and especially in steel sector, it's showing a lot of momentum. In fact, since the lows of 10,650, metals have been the best performer index overall. So really continue to remain very bullish on the metal space. The sideways consolidation has broken on the upside. If you can see, after the breach of upside, again it has found support here. So momentum is building up. I think it's just the start of the momentum, and I expect the prices to move much higher and quite steeply going ahead. Okay, so it's at 87 right now, 86.50. What is the ideal strategy that one should follow? See, for an aggressive trader, I think since steel is anyway a very hot sector, I would actually go ahead and buy it. But someone who is defensive can buy 50% now, and actually around 81, 82 again add further if at all it comes down on the downside. I'll keep a stop loss of 74. The first target that I have is 97. That's a defensive target, I would say. Overall, I expect the stock to reach as high as 130 rupees on the upside. Okay, 130. And volumes, are you seeing volumes also coming in over the past? Yes, volumes are coming in, Darshan. That's what I'm saying. Whenever we are seeing such large candles, even during the phase of, that's the ADX. Yeah, ADX. So ADX has also gone up, which of course shows the strength of the trend. But yes, the volumes have gone up. Even during, even before the breakout, when you see, the volumes have been pretty high on the bullish candles. These are early signs that smart money is accumulating without the stock getting overheated. So such setups, you have to be really aware of what's happening with the volumes. Okay, so JSL Hisar is the first stock that Amit did talk about. And remember, over the past few days, we've seen mid-caps rally significantly. Amit, I believe you had spoken about TRF also a while back. Rain spoken. So Rain is up 15% today. TRF was up 20%. So I think it's the time where a lot of mid-caps have started to rally. Again, another mid-cap that Amit wants to speak about today is a chart on Godrej Agrovet. And we've seen how the rally has happened. If you take a look at some of the stocks which have managed to rally, and I'll come to you, Amit. Companies like Avanti Feeds, Waterbase, all these companies have rallied significantly. Apex has rallied significantly. So there is significant amount of traction. But Godrej Agrovet is the stock that Amit wants to speak about. Why are you bullish? What are your targets? Right. So see, this long decline, this was the all-time peak. And since then, what we have seen is a downtrend in the stock. Now it has taken a lot of time, basically the fall has been arrested here. We have seen a marginal breach of this one, but that's just a marginal, and stock has quickly retraced that. And again, so more or less the stock has stayed in this range on the downside and has arrested and has absorbed all the selling which was present. So what you can see here is ebbing of the entire downtrend that we saw earlier, and stock has made a nice base for itself. It has actually made an inverse head and shoulder and broken out above that inverse head and shoulder on a weekly chart. Remember, higher the time frame, the stronger the chart is. So in this case, it's a weekly chart, a breakout above the inverse head and shoulder, which tells you that the entire downtrend has reversed from down to now up in the near term. It has also closed above, it is also trading above its 200 weekly moving average. So things are looking pretty good for the stock.
Okay, so what's the ideal strategy? 557. What should one do?
I would go ahead and buy it right away, Darshan. I'll keep a stop below 511. The first target I expect is 630, and overall I do expect stock to head towards 650.
And what's the time frame in which you expect this to happen?
I think the way mid caps are catching up, one would be really surprised of moves coming in so quickly. It can even get achieved probably in a week to 10 days. That's the kind of, and the kind of I mean, mid caps are completely under-owned at this stage. Even a small amount of buying from big guys would propel the stock such higher, and that phase is, I mean, one is able to see that kind of phase. So I think one should remain in mid cap space. Today I'm covering all mid cap stocks. Basically, that's the theme for today. And I think moves can be very, very fast in this stage of the market, especially in mid caps.
Okay, so mid caps is something that he likes about. So Godrej Agrovet is the second stock that's been spoken about, and the third stock is Visakha Industries. Remember, they are into the roofing systems, somewhat like what a Hyderabad industry does, HIL. So similar, the trend has been on the higher side. Again, there has been a correction that's coming. Do you expect a bounce back here?
Yeah, of course. Can we have a log chart of this one?
Do we have it? I'll ask my producer to tell me. Do we have the chart, or this is the only chart that they have?
Just need to do it log.
I think they're loading it. Just one second. In the way, it will take some time for the chart to come in. Is this the one?
No, this is still a linear one.
At least if we can start with this one.
Yeah, no. And a monthly chart on this with a log one. This is
I think this is the one that we have.
Yeah, but this is a daily one. We'll start with the monthly.
Yeah, we can start with this one if you
can. Okay. So this is the daily chart right now. Fine, we'll start with this one. So you know, this is a very long monthly consolidation. I remember Darshan had picked this stock somewhere around 230, and it went up to all the way to 800. I mean, these are the kind of setups, you know, once the stock breaks out from multi-year high, multi-year consolidations, they generally tend to explode in a big way. Now, what we are currently seeing is, you know, around the same breakout level, the stock is finding support again. Since this is a linear chart, it's not clearly visible, but on a log scale, it's a nice channel that we see here. It's also holding near its 200 EMA on the monthly chart. It is at a very low risk point. I do expect the stock to again breach the trend line, I mean the channel trend line on the upside, and this stock can really surprise as far as returns are concerned on the upside.
Okay, so 276 currently, would now buy at lower level. What's the target stop loss?
I would go ahead and buy it right now, because see, mid caps, you need to catch it early before it starts, because once it starts moving, 20-30% can happen very quickly. So we'll catch it a little young. I'll buy it right away. I'll keep a stop below 248. The first target that I have for Visakha Industries is 324, but overall I do expect it to reach towards 365 on the upside.
Okay, 365. Thanks so much for that. Amit, what's your sense on? I'll come to your chart, Nilesh. You have a view on Visakha Industries?
Well, if you look at the daily chart, it is making higher top, higher bottom on the daily time frame from past couple of weeks. So overall structure definitely looks positive. Immediate target that one can look for is of 300. On the downside, the stop loss should be placed below 270. It's a trading call, I would say. From positional perspective, yes, 340 could be the target.
Okay, we finished Amit's three charts. We'll come to your three charts right now. Nilesh, your first chart is, please do come ahead, is the one on L&T Finance Holdings. Let's pull up the chart of L&T Finance Holdings. It's a buy. Why are you recommending a buy on this?
If you look at the weekly structure, it has provided fresh breakout in today's trading session. Now, if you look at the indicators, it has gone into oversold territory, and it has also provided buy crossover on RSI. So the momentum is indicating it is likely to continue higher. And if you look at the overall NBFC space, L&T Finance Holding should be the preferred pick based on the chart. On the high side, the target that one can look for is of 135 to 140. Very small stop loss should be placed at 115, and it is sort of a buy on dip sort of a counter, and I would suggest one should wait for some sort of a profit booking in the range of 120 to 121, and the time frame should be close to 15 to 20 days. So
okay, so it's a positive call coming in on L&T Finance Holding. We'll also have to go to your second chart. It's on Adani Ports. Ever since they did the acquisition, the counter hasn't rallied as much as the analyst had anticipated. But are you seeing a breakout here happening on the counter?
Yes, right. If you look at the upper end, this is the upper rising resistance zone, and on the downside is protected at 370, 360, and it is making higher top, higher bottom on intraday chart, and the momentum is likely to continue towards the higher end of the channel, which is coming somewhere close to 420. 415 is our immediate target, and one can keep a stick stop loss below 370, 375, and the duration would be 10 to 15 days. 375 should be the stop loss.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Adani Ports, and you expect the counter to move higher. And the last chart is on Mahindra and Mahindra. Let's pull up M&M also and see what the call is. Yes, Mahindra.
Now, Darshan, if you look at the broader chart, from past couple of years, we have seen it has always taken support of its support somewhere close to place at 500 odd level, and currently it is quoting somewhere close to 540. I think the bottom has been placed. It has formed some sort of a double bottom kind of a pattern on the daily chart, and it is likely to inch towards the downward sloping trend line, which is coming somewhere close to 580 to 600. So I would suggest one can go long position, one can create long position at current level as well, and on the downside the stop loss should be placed somewhere close to 515 to 510. On the high side, the target that we are expecting is of 518.
Will this be a slow mover, or would you expect the targets to come in?
Yes, definitely. We have seen in the past, this is the slowest moving counter in the auto space. That is why I was recommending it is like 15 to 20 days it might take, and the target that we are conservatively expecting is of 580 on the high side.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Nilesh. Very quickly, I'll come to you, Amit. Any of the three counters, L&T Finance, M&M, or Adani Ports, which of these three do you like the best?
Of these three, L&T Finance is something which I clearly like amongst these three. I think even I'm quite bullish on that counter. It has taken a nice support around its 200 weekly daily EMA, nice flag kind of a pattern breaking out. I do expect stock to head towards 155 kind of a zone. I'll keep a stop below 111 on this one.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on L&T Finance, but with that we're completely timed out on this show. It's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Let me thank my guest Amit as well as Nilesh for coming in today with their picks. We had 6 picks that they gave you. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.